Hi, this is Terry Iverson from CNC Rocks Manufacturing Camp. I want to talk a little bit about safety. When you look at manufacturing, one of the things you need to consider is your personal safety, because that's paramount for any manufacturer. So for example, one of the things that I would suggest is that you don't have any jewelry on when you're running a machine or in a shop. I've taken off my watch, just took off my ring. As far as eye protection, those of us that are old and need glasses have to actually have special safety glasses, but you should have safety glasses on that make sure that you have adequate eye protection. In addition, if you have long hair, you want to make sure it's back, whether a female or a male, so that you don't get it anywhere near a rotating member of a machine tool. And then you also want to make sure that if you are in the business world and wear a tie, that you don't have a tie, because that can get caught in a spindle or a tool and literally be tragic. As far as some of the other considerations, electricity. These machines run on high power, 230 volt, 460 volt, and so you always want to be conscious and aware that electricity, that degree of power and energy can be dangerous. So all machine tools are closed and interlocked, and so you should never have a door open where you can open the door while it's energized. That's a big no-no. You also don't want to have someone on the other side of the machine while you're on the front side and they're on the back side, and they turn it on, or you turn it on, or you hit cycle start, and then all of a sudden someone's at risk because you don't know they're there. As far as other elements, on the work holding, on a chuck, which is a work holding device, there's a key that you put into the chuck to open and close it. And the mistake I made as a young person in the shop for the first time is I let that chuck in, the key in the chuck, and I walked away. So what could happen is someone could energize the spindle on a lathe, and that chuck would become airborne and could hurt somebody quite seriously. As far as all machine tools have interlocks, and so you don't want to ever bypass an interlock. So you can see this machine's powered down, and I can't open it because of the interlock. If it was energized and powered up and I opened it, then the machine would go into either an e-stop or a feed hold. And so that wouldn't allow me to get hurt. As far as other elements, some shops that you go into, they require steel-toed shoes. I do not have steel-toed shoes on today, but some shops when you go into, they'll require that, or they'll have covers over your toes. Commonly, that's when you actually have heavy parts that you're holding, and if you were to drop a heavy part, it could crush your toes, of course. As far as lifting heavy objects in a shop, you want to make sure there's a proper way to lift. So you don't want to bend down with your back. You want to squat and then stand up and keep your back straight. Otherwise, you can give significant back injury. Some of the other things, this is called a feed hold, or a feed rate override switch and rapid override switch. That's my best friend. In other words, when I'm dry cycling and cycling a program, I want to sneak up on it. So I want to watch that I have all the proper clearances, and you can adjust this from 10% up to probably 150%. So as I'm proving out a program, I can step through the program very slowly until I'm confident, I always suggest this, till I'm confident running that particular program and that particular part. One of the things earlier in one of the videos, I made a mistake where I put in, I actually stated 100 thousandths for an inch or 1 inch for 100 thousandths. Those are mistakes that are not good. And so if you're using your override switch, as you step through it, you'll catch that. There's something called the distance to go page on the CRT, on the control. And if you think that you have a 100 thousandth move and it doesn't look like 100 thousandths, and you look at the distance to go page and it says 3/4 of an inch, you have a problem. So you know that you made a mistake with a decimal point. Some of the other things that I would indicate as far as safety is just be mindful and ask questions. Don't assume anything. Being in manufacturing can be very safe, but you can't assume things. You've got to actually ask questions and repetitively, exercise caution at every point as in the process. By no means is this an all-inclusive list of safety. This is just the beginning of some of the things that you should consider when you go into a shop or when you work in manufacturing.